The UN says gamers leverage toxic masculinity to disguise extremism. A newly released hit piece. This is where your tax dollars go. Like, man, that's one thing that pissed me off about Orange Man was that he defunded some money from the UN, but he didn't completely cut them off. He didn't kick them out of the US. So the UN Office of Counterterrorism has released a report examining gaming and violent extremism. Yeah, because they're busy trying to find scapegoats in gamers because they don't want to examine the pedophiles among their own ranks. So the report, titled Examining the Intersection Between Gaming and Violent Extremism, is a result of surveys of gamers, expert consultations, and focus groups, so it must be true. And was prepared by Linda Schlegel, co-founder of the Extremism and Gaming Research Network, and Amarnath Amarasingam, a assistant professor at Queen's University. You know what? I'd be willing to bet money the responses they got from gamers were probably them trolling like they always do. And the focus groups and the academics are all dumb anyway. So that explains that. Yeah, the report notes that around 3 billion people, 1/3 of the global population, play online games, and the number increased during the pandemic because communities and gaming spaces became a substitute for lack of offline interaction and grew exponentially. The translation, they got infested by fake geeks during this time. If they weren't already, they are now. The researchers allege violent extremists and terrorists use online gaming spaces to strategically and organically achieve their goals. They say the significant audience reach, the lack of moderation, and customization in gaming platforms make gaming spaces more prone to being exploited by extremists. Now, what's sad is, like, this isn't exactly wrong. It's been proven that terrorists do this. Like, if they know their emails are being tapped, if they know they can't contact each other by phone, if all the messaging services are monitored. All right, let's just hop into a game of Call of Duty and just talk about our plans there. But they're using this as an excuse to mandate censorship and spying on all online games. Oh, we're sorry. We're not going to allow you to host online servers unless you log every single word that's said in your chat and share it with us. The lack of moderation allows extremists to disseminate their ideas widely through audio conversations while playing on live streams and through chats. This moderation you speak of only allows extremists on the far left to disseminate their terrorism. So fuck off. Now, the researchers say they identified 4 important ways in which games and gaming culture are used by extremists. They make some people feel wanted and heard. Oh, yeah, that's typical on the far left. Use gaming-related content to disguise their extremist propaganda. Again, typical strategy of the far left. Wow, are you just outing all of like Antifa and Burn Loot Murder's strategies right here? Oh, hey, this thing is popular. Let's infest it and use it to spread our extremist propaganda. Then leverage toxic masculinity, which they say is common in gaming subcultures. So being a normal person and not censoring. The report also says different groups use different methods. For example, it alleges right-wing extremists exploit misogynistic and toxic parts of gaming culture, as well as boys' clubs. Yeah, and then jihadists, use video game aesthetics to make their propaganda more appealing. No mention of far-left extremism, which is the most prevalent form of extremism in gaming right now. God, man, this is why everyone hates these people. This is why no one trusts them. They keep manufacturing boogeymen everywhere while ignoring the actual problem. Like how all these alphabet organizations keep looking for non-existent alt-right terrorists while they actively ignore far-left terrorism. And then they wonder why no one has any faith in them anymore and wants them disbanded. Yeah, this is an important thing, too. The right don't play games. Yeah, try talking about video games in a place like Gab and see what happens to you. Yeah, shut the fuck up, you ignorant sacks of shit. If these are the people that are protecting us, I'd rather not have protection because I think I'd be better off. Now, the survey conducted by the researchers alleged that the toxicity found in gaming communities was by far the respondents' most prominent complaint by both games and gaming-adjacent platforms. So do you want to know where the toxicity came from? Because none of these communities were toxic until the far left forced their way into them. And then suddenly they became toxic. No one was complaining about these toxic communities like 20 years ago. Only when the toxic people forced their way in did they become toxic. So clearly it's the fault of the people who were there all along not having any problems. And the targets of toxicity are mostly people of color, whammons, alphabet soup, and trans gamers. Of course. Gotta play the victim. Yeah, 30 to 34% of respondents say they witnessed a great deal or a lot of misogyny, racism, xenophobia, or homophobia. Oh, you mean communities finally learning that they need to be gatekeeping? Too late for a lot of them, though. Yeah, it's true. Burn, Loot, Murder was funded and supported by the game corpos. Yeah, remember during the violent Burn, Loot, Murder riots, every single game company posted on their social media their support for the violent terrorists and even funded them and didn't get into any legal trouble for providing material supports to terrorists. I think the only reason they didn't get into any trouble is because all their money was used to buy mansions anyway. Like that's the one saving grace. Like their money wasn't used to buy the Molotov cocktails, it was used to buy mansions for the leaders. So, what do you mean we're supporting terrorism? All we did was buy this strong independent whammons or fourth mansion. Oh yeah, almost everyone plays games. Some are more vocal about their politics than others. Yeah, I know, but it's all about like there's a difference also between a gamer and just a tourist. Like for example, almost everyone drives a car in the Western world after a certain age. Does that mean everyone is suddenly like a car fanatic, like a car nut? No, they just use them as a vehicle to get from point A to point B. There's very few people that are true like they're car guys. And it's the same thing with gaming. Everyone nowadays plays games, but there's very few people that I would qualify as gamers, like people who do it as a hobby and not just as a distraction or some shit to do when you're bored. Yeah, those are the guys that need to gatekeep a lot fucking harder. Because nowadays, you get these tourists that, oh, I spent an hour playing the most popular game in the world. I'm a gamer now. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up and get out. Like, seriously? We all see through the bullshit. And the sad thing is, if we did even half the things they accused us of doing, we wouldn't be having these problems. We should have gatekept from the fucking start.